We're joined by Sean Farnham, the college basketball expert analyst for ESPN. And Sean, first things first, Kentucky goes to 28-0 last night. Are they that good or just that big?
They're that good. I was at the practice last Friday, and what people forget is they practice against each other. So they're essentially practicing against what would be another top 10 team. I mean, if you just cut them off at 5 and say, okay, these 5 are going against these 5, you could make an argument it'd be the best starting fives in all of college basketball. You can make that as a legitimate argument. They practice against each other every day. So the toughest competition they faced all season long is each other. That benefits you when you go out and you play the game. Besides the fact that I think they have just this psychological edge on almost every opponent that walks in to face them, as in, oh my gosh, this is Kentucky. Look how much length they have. They're as tall as an NBA team. Oh my, they've got 9 McDonald's. They're up 10 points before the tip. And then you see how aggressive they are at the defensive end of the floor, their ability to block shots, protect the rim, rebound the ball, and then look to run. They're as good as advertised as far as I'm concerned.
Sean, do we just crown them now, or is there a team that, when they're in this tournament, that has a shot at taking them down?
No, they're beatable. There's no doubt they're beatable. I mean, people forget, they talk about the SEC, and they go, oh, the SEC is down. First of all, that's not actually true. They had 3 teams in the tournament last year. Looks like they're going to probably get close to 6 this year into the NCAA tournament. So you can't say that. Then there was the discussion of, they're probably not going to get challenged very much in the SEC. Well, first game goes to overtime. Probably should have lost that game against Ole Miss. Second game goes into double overtime. Definitely should have probably lost that game to Texas A&M. They could have lost the game to LSU. LSU folded up down the stretch, did not execute, only scored 2 points in the final 3 minutes and 41 seconds. And then Florida game, another game that they probably could have lost. So put all those games together, what does it show you? They're beatable. They're not superhuman. They're not robotic. We're not talking about the unbeatable force here, but it's going to take a really good night and a really strong team to beat them. And I think when you look at this NCAA tournament field, I think teams like Wisconsin, teams like a healthy Virginia, because Virginia's really banged up right now. London Parentes is out with a broken nose. Justin Anderson's out with a broken hand. So they're a little shorthanded, although they continue to win. But I even think a team like Arizona could give Kentucky problems because they play really good defense, and they kind of have the length to match up with them. And that, to me, is going to be very interesting to see as the seedings come out, is who's the 2 seed on the bracket for Kentucky, because I don't see anything prior to the Final Four I think would be shocking to all of us. But there's the potential of a 2 seed that's going to be a difficult matchup for Kentucky there in the Elite Eight.
ESPN college basketball analyst Sean Farnham joining Armen and Levack on ESPN Radio 104.5 The Team. You can follow him at Sean Farnham on Twitter. All right, so Knicks fans all over the area are already counting Jahlil Okafor as part of the team. If they don't get that number 1 pick, is Karl Anthony Towns the second pick, and is he comparable, as good, better? How do you see that playing out in the pros?
I think Karl Anthony Towns is closing that gap real quick with Jahlil Okafor right now with the way that he's playing. I think Karl Anthony Towns came in as a freshman this year and wanted to showcase his entire skill set. And in doing so, he spent a lot of time trying to show that he had range. And he has good range. I saw him at practice one time knock down 3 straight 3-pointers in a transition offensive breakdown that they were trying to work on. So he can shoot the ball from the outside. But I think what the difference is, his level of aggressiveness as of late has separated him now. And that's been the thing that I think Coach Calipari has tried to focus in with him on. In fact, Coach Cal told me about 2 weeks ago, I don't want him to be a good player. I want him to be a great player. And to be a great player, to understand where he's going to earn his money, that means money, obviously, at the NBA level, is he's got to be able to play and dominate in the paint. He wants him to become a player that can really exploit the interior of a defense. And so now for the last 3 weeks or so, you've seen Karl Anthony Towns go from that 5 feet and in area and really just impose his will on the game. And that, to me, has made things interesting, not only for the draft purposes, but also for SEC Freshman of the Year, because it looked like Devin Booker was going to walk away with that honor from Kentucky. And now it looks like Karl Anthony Towns is trying to take it from him down the stretch here. But no, I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be an amazing NBA player because of his length, because of his toughness. He's only going to get stronger. He's only going to become more physical. I think he's a very skilled player to go with that.
Sean, if the nightmare scenario happens and the Knicks don't end up with the first or second pick somehow, is there another player in this draft that could make an immediate improvement on that roster?
Yeah, his name's Willie CauleyStein. If you don't get Willie CauleyStein, take Marcus Lee. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not naming off every Kentucky player. But no, I would go with Willie CauleyStein because his defensive ability, he can defend all 5 positions out on the floor. I mean, I think he could. There's a legitimate argument that you could put him in the Frank Kaminsky and Jahlil Okafor discussion based on the fact of how he alters the game at the defensive end of the floor. His lateral quickness is as good as any big that I can remember in recent years. So although he's not as polished offensively, you've started to see better consistency from his mid-range jump shot. He's putting in the time after and before practice right now to continue to work on that, which is what you want to see. And I think that, when you have Coach Calipari tell us, when I asked him, okay, could you see yourself putting another big that you've coached on the leading scorer of the other team who happens to be a 6'4" guard more so than Willie CauleyStein? And he goes, I think Willie puts himself in the elite category, but the only other 2 guys I think I'd even think about doing that would be Marcus Camby and Anthony Davis. So if you had a combination of those 2 guys with Willie CauleyStein, I think you'd probably be happy at the defensive end of the floor. Offensively, he's not necessarily as polished as Anthony Davis is, but I think he's growing in that direction as well. So I think he's another guy. I think if you're looking for a guard, D'Angelo Russell, I think from Ohio State, is another freshman, but a freshman who is an elite scorer. He's got great feel for the game. He's unselfish. He had a triple-double a couple weeks back. I think he's another guy to keep an eye on if you're a Knicks fan and you're trying to just join into college basketball right now.
Sean, I can't let you leave without asking you the ugly scene at Kansas State with the fans rushing the court. Should every conference ban this? Is there a way to make it safer, or do we just accept the fact that kids are going to rush the court?
Well, we saw court storming last night in college basketball as well, and guess what? Nobody got hurt. You know why? Because the security staff did what they were supposed to do. That's the thing that blew my mind at Kansas State. Look, the kids that ran into players and stuff like that literally try to forearm shiver a guy in the back. Okay, that guy's going to get caught by the cops. They already tweeted out his picture. He's going to get caught. All right, so he's going to go have to talk to somebody. But the security guards, the guys in the yellow jackets, the red jackets, whatever color jackets they're using at the arena, they know when the storm forming is coming. So just rope off the area, about a 5-foot area along the bench of the visiting team, and protect the visiting team. The home team is going to run in the middle of it and jump up and down and have fun. The visitors are the ones you want to make sure get off the floor and get off the floor safe. And that did not happen at Kansas State. They're going to have to review their policy. I'm not against banning. I'm against banning it because I've had courts be stormed against me, and I've also had my team at UCLA. We had one time where they rushed the floor, and that was when we won the conference championship and we cut down the nets at home. But outside of that, I mean, it's fun. It is part of college basketball. Whether we like it or not, and I know there's many in my industry that don't like it, you got to deal with it.
He's greatness. He is he's one of my favorite ESPN college basketball analysts, Sean Farnham. Sean, thank you so much for making time for us this morning. And anytime you got something to say, please call us. We'd love to hear it.
All right, we'll do. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Sean. Have a great one.